Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Oh my gosh, we are a week away from Christmas. My niece and I were chatting this morning. We can't believe the way time is flying. And I thought, what a great opportunity to introduce a dear friend of mine. Her name is Laura Ordeal. Laura is an intuitive, and my niece this morning, was joking. She's like, you've got to tell everyone that she's like our family intuitive. We love Laura. And my clients and friends have worked with her, and I just thought, what a great time of the year for people that might need a last minute gift for someone that is interested in intuition and interested in an astrology or an intuitive reading. So, welcome, Laura. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Meg. That was awesome. Now I feel all special.
Well, you are special.
Thank you.
You are special. I was recently, I think I told you about this. I was giving a talk a few months ago on how to get your mojo back to a group of women. And I brought up part of the story was just some stories about intuition and someone came up to me afterwards and said, what's an intuitive? And I thought, oh my gosh, I should have explained that more. Not everyone, that's not as common of a term. Can you explain to everyone what an intuitive is?
It's a really broad word, I think, for someone who just taps into everything that's already there, that's more sensitive to bringing in the information that is available to us. We all have intuition. And I think an intuitive is someone who just helps gather it and bring it in and help someone understand a little bit better what's available to them, what's available to myself. So I love that there's so much information that we can gather so easily. It's so easy. People don't realize how easy it is.
When you say that, because I think people sometimes think, oh my gosh, are they going to read my mind?
I wish.
Yeah.
No, I can't read your mind. I can maybe feel a little bit about what's going on with you, about what's available to you, but no, I can't. No, I wish. Then I'd be out there doing all kinds of things, and no. And I'm glad, actually. I don't want to read people's minds. That would not be too fun, I don't think.
So it's really, you've talked to me in the past about you feel that you're a bridge to, because obviously we're all intuitive. It's our sixth sense. And so you're that bridge tapping into our intuition. And can you talk more about that?
Yeah, and so actually someone I was talking to recently, everyone says it's a sixth sense, but it's actually our first sense. It's the thing that comes out first for us. Mm-hmm. When you step into a situation, it's that gut instinct where you just kind of know, oh, here's what's going on, here's what's happening. And yeah, I feel like I get to be that bridge for people sometimes where they're sitting there kind of stuck in what's going on for them and they just can't see. It's like when you step out or when you're driving and all of a sudden this fog comes up and you don't know what's happening. That's when I'm able to help clear that a little bit, to help see beyond that. And even I get stuck, especially with my own stuff. We all kind of think that, oh, we want something so bad, so we don't actually see what's available, what's in front of us, what the direction is that we can take. So an intuitive, psychic, whatever you want to say, type person steps in and they're able to look and see what maybe you can't see for yourself. And I love that part. I love being able to help someone, because a lot of times it's simple validation. You know which way is the best way for you, but you might want something a little bit different. So I can say, hey, here's what it looks like for your choices. If you go this direction or if you go this direction, here's what the outcome looks like a little bit for you.
Yeah, it's kind of like a validation because, I one friend in particular that you did a reading for, she came out of the room after, having the call on the phone with you and was just so moved. And she was crying and I thought she was upset about something, but it was this And I mean, it went on, and she's hugging me, and oh, thank you for introducing me to Laura, and I'm like, oh my Lord, what happened? And then when she caught her breath, she just said she completely validated what I've known, but fear has been blocking what I know.
Yeah.
And that was a real turning point for her.
Yeah. A lot of times we're afraid. We're afraid of what we see, what we know, what's coming, because change is scary. Change is wonderful, but the process of change sometimes can be difficult.
Yeah.
And you're stepping into it, sometimes just having someone there saying, it is okay on the other side. Here's what's happening when you do take these steps. It's okay to take a step, and the universe meets you. You take one step. It was a comment that I heard someone say, you take one step toward the gods take 10 towards you.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I love that. So, because as soon as you initiate something and move a little bit, it sets everything in motion, and it's wonderful, and things just kind of come. And yeah, sometimes it's a little hard, it's a little scary, but we all have the resilience, we all have the courage inside ourselves to continue forward, to move forward, to go into what we need to go into.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that analogy that, take a few steps forward and the universe meets you. When did you, I'm curious, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. When did you know that you had this gift to a much larger degree than everyone else?
I think as a child too. I mean, I trying to think back. I guess as a child, I knew a little bit of some of it. I knew there was stuff that I knew, and that I was a little bit different about that with people. Excuse me. But I didn't really understand what it was or anything. And then probably in my 20s, teens and 20s, I started having dreams that would happen, or I started having feelings about something, especially with someone I was close to, a boyfriend or husband or whoever it was at the time. I would know when something was going on. I would know, and it was like, is this happening? And it would happen, or I would have a dream and it would happen. And then a few years ago, I had a really extremely vivid dream about the tsunami that happened. And it was almost a little bit scary for me because it was so real, and it was like I was the person there.
Oh, wow.
In the tsunami, and who had survived it and who had come up out of it, and at that moment. And the next morning I was telling my daughter and my daughter-in-law about it, and they're like, ooh. And then a little while later we got the news that there was a tsunami. Oh, and they're like, ooh, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And I said, I didn't do it. I just was understanding and seeing a part of it. And from there, I think I had already stepped into reading and understanding a little bit, of course, with certain books that really helped me understand that what I was doing was normal, what was happening was normal, that there were processes to help develop it, understand it, bring it into my life in useful ways, bring it into other people's lives in useful ways. And then, of course, meeting you was a really significant part, because you really helped me bring that into line with what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And thank you for that, by the way.
Well, and so, we met because you are a student of Laura Day's.
Right.
And
she's, yeah.
Yeah, so that
her
was
books were one of the books that Practical Intuition was a book that it stunned me, because it was all about, oh, this is what I've done for so long. I understand now what I'm doing, and I understood how to direct it a little bit, and just doing little things that were so accurate, and it's like, wow, that's so cool. So that was great. And then progressing in that, and of course moving into now the astrology part of it. Oh my gosh, I always used to love astrology when I was a kid. Just the horoscope part, just knowing I was a Gemini, just knowing who this other person was and a little bit about them. And then stepping in and studying with now Deborah Silverman, her way of looking at it and going into it is so useful again. I love useful. I love having something that's useful. And astrology's been around for a bazillion years. so accurate, so amazing, can be used in so many different ways, that I it just stunned me again. I mean, when you have these things that you step into and all of a sudden you realize that works, that's amazing.
And,
So now I brought that in with some of the things. So I do both. I do intuitive readings now. I do the astrological chart readings and kind of combine them as well.
I like that, by the way. I like that because it's almost like it's something tangible that you can work off of, and then but bring in your intuition off of the chart. So
Absolutely.
Another question would be, for people listening or watching, what do you think the top tips would be for awakening their own intuition in their lives?
The top tips is, I guess,
give me like your top 2 tips. How about that?
Okay, well, play with it, have fun with it, do stuff that like super simple things. When you're driving, what's the color of the next car that's going to come up and pass you, without looking? What's that? And just guess. Bring it about. Oh, okay. Kind of feel it a little bit. What's the color? And you guess. At home, you can say, or even when your phone rings or you get a text, who's that from?
Yes.
Who's that from? And I think you already know half the time if you just kind of tune in. I get a text and go, oh, that's Meg. Hi, Meg. And before I even look at the phone. And I love that. And so those are super simple things. Another thing is a super easy way to do it, to practice, is one of Laura Day's that I got out, and I've seen it other places too, is an envelope exercise where you write down some questions, simple questions about what's the next step in my career, or when am I going to meet the next love in my life, or something like that. And I suggest you do at least 3 envelopes, and you take the envelopes. So
I've got some envelopes right here. I've got the props, Laura.
Good.
We both have props because it's confusing. I'm trying to explain it to people, and they're like, "What do you do?"
So you take the envelopes, and write down on a little piece of paper.
Like this. I got it. I got the props.
Fold the little piece of paper, put it in the envelope. I like to write 1, 2, 3.
So put your question on the piece of paper.
Right.
Put it in the envelope.
Put it in an envelope. Write a number 1 on the envelope. Okay. And first you write your things out, and you kind of mix them up. Don't look, no cheating. And then you put them in the envelope, marked 1, 2, 3, and then you sit and you write in a little piece of paper, a little notebook, your journal, whatever. You write what you feel about that particular envelope when you sit down with it. You look up and around. You might pick out. You see the blue in a piece of something in your house. So you write down, blue, and the blue is about an ocean, and the blue is about something else. And then you see or you feel really warm, and so you write down, warmth and joy and happiness, and then you write down the next thing that comes to you. And it can be anything, crazy stuff. You can be thinking crazy stuff, and then you go back and you kind of go, what does that mean for me? And you write it out a little bit, because for me, blue would be the ocean, the sky, a happy day, something like that for me.
So
and then you don't open it up.
You don't try to think. You just follow where your attention goes.
You just follow whatever comes.
Right.
When I'm looking right now, it would be, I look over and I see the words hope and offering and two different men, and so it might be about a career where it's something that I've hoped for. I'm going to be offered by 2 different men the opportunity to expand on that.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, again, an easy way to do it, like Laura was saying, you get 3 note cards. You write down a question on each of the note cards. You get 3 identical envelopes. You put the note card in the envelope, and a fun way too is just to shuffle the envelopes and then write your thoughts on the envelope one at a time, and then you open it up, and essentially you're answering the question, right? Did I get that right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's so funny that you had the envelopes, because we didn't even talk about that before.
I know. I learned about that through Laura's books too.
Yeah,
So
we've talked about it before, but I didn't know we were going to talk about it today. So I think that's
I thought
awesome.
I'd slide that in there, keep you on your toes.
There you go. There you go. So it's a lot of fun, and that's a really simple, easy way. You can do that daily. You can do it weekly. You can just kind of practice, have some with you, and write down notes, during the day. Do it one time and then set it aside, come back, do it a little later, write whatever your impressions are. So, yeah, just follow it a little bit because it's surprising. It'll be crazy pants. It'll be like so fun for you.
We do it in the circle groups, and some people are they're resistant to it at first sometimes, and then when we do it, they're all like, okay, what just happened? That's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So when you work with people, now who's your typical client? Because a lot of people will say, what's up with this, intuitive reading? And someone told me, or I read somewhere, that 100 of the top CEOs were surveyed in the country on what was the number one tool that they used to make a decision. And 80% of them said intuition.
Yes.
Maybe Laura said that, or I read that somewhere. But I think that's pretty powerful. And for me, I think a lot of people grasp the idea and they're open to it, and others are a little bit resistant. So who is your typical client?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone is a typical. I mean, it's just someone looking for some direction in a certain part of their life. And I might talk to somebody about the career. They're at a why, they have some choices and they need to make some choices about where to go. And so I might talk to them about where to go with their career. And the one thing I was going to mention too real quick is with intuition and with questions, a lot of people try to put yes and no stuff out there. That's not really the best way to do it, because let me give you a quick example talking about careers. Yes and no. So you might ask yourself, or you might ask an intuitive, am I going to get this next job? And so you do it, and the immediate answer is yes. Okay? However, you get that job, 6 months down the line, you're miserable. You have too much to do. You have all of these people that you're working with that you don't want to work with. You have all of this, and it's like, I thought it was going to be a wonderful thing. I was supposed to get this job. It was supposed to be great. That's not what you asked. You asked where you're going to get the job. So what you want to ask instead is, what is it going to look like in my life if I get this job?
Okay.
So then that's going to push and bring forward that information. It's going to look, you're going to be crazy pants busy. You're going to have these people that are going to be domineering. So that's a really big difference. And then you go, okay, well, maybe I want to look at this other job, or maybe I want to look at staying where I'm at. What's that going to look like? And so that might be a better path for you. So that's what I get with people a lot. A lot of people will come to me with, I want to know yes or no this, or yes or no that. And so I talk with them and say, listen, this is how we're going to do this. And so I'm able to help them distinguish what they want to do with that information. I'm not saying, yes, go for this job or go for that job. Here's what it's going to look like for you. Which one do you want to do?
Right.
So then they're able and empowered to make the choice themselves. And I think that's the most amazing thing that intuition does for us, is it empowers us and it moves us. And
yeah, because you're not telling anyone what to do. You're
right.
Showing them possibilities.
And so the clients that come to me can be, like you said, anywhere from a lot of high-powered people don't, they do get intuitive information. They do get people to help them in their decisions. The big companies, they come in and they want information about how's their marketing going to look, this certain thing, or how's this new research and development thing going to look. They use intuitives in that instance. They're not going to go out and tell everybody, yeah, we have an intuitive on the staff, because, like you said, people. So they're consultants. They have consultants.
Yeah. They feel it's a little woo woo, and you. What do you always say? You say, rather than woo woo, it's wow wow, right?
Yes, I love that.
I like that.
It's wow, because look at the information that you get. So, and then I might just have a mom who comes in and goes, I need I'm in a difficult situation in my life. I'm not feeling the way I need to feel. I'm not feeling this. I'm struggling. And so I can help them hopefully, find a way to alleviate some of that, to let them know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're doing exactly what you need to be. Or you need to get off your butt and you need to move over in this direction a little bit and do
Laura
something.
will tell you that, people. That's what I like about you.
I try always to say it nicely, but sometimes I do have to say, look, you need to push yourself a little bit. You need to get out of that little comfort zone that you're wallowing in and move a little bit. Get out of the mud, start moving. And I think that's important too. We don't always just get to a little pat on the head that says, yes, you're just doing everything great. You're doing everything. Sometimes it's like, you know what? You're going to be struggling if you don't pick it up and move in this other direction a little bit. So
I love it. And I love you, Laura, because you're so real. And people, the feedback that I've gotten when people get off of the phone, because and by the way, people, you have to call Laura because she lives in beautiful Montana. If you live in Montana, that's fabulous. You can go see her. But when they get off of a call with you, they feel, I've heard words that equate to just feeling embraced and in your warmth and in your energy. And people are really uplifted. It's you shift their energy. So we're going into the holidays. If anyone knows of anyone who would be interested in this, I highly recommend working with Laura. How do people get a hold of you?
They can find me in a couple different ways. I'm on Facebook, Laura.ordeal.7. I also have a couple of pages, Laura Ordeal Intuitive. I should know that better, but the Laura Ordeal 7, you can find me there. It's a public situation, and so you can find me there. My email is LOLAAH, Apple Henry, LOL Apple Henry at msn.com. And of course, they can contact you.
Yes.
And I'm open to giving my phone number to anyone, but let's try those two first. So how about that?
Yeah, and you can. A lot of people be watching this on Facebook. You can go into my pages that I like, and I've liked Laura's page, so you can find her there as well. And Ordeal is spelled Ordile.
Yes, it looks like Ordile. That's true. A little bit of Italian there. But I love, because I married into the name I've deserved all my life. I'm an Ordeal. So
I'm an Ordeal. And she's kind of a big deal. That's what I say. So thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Meg.
I'm sending you a big hug and stay warm.
Oh, yeah, trying. Oh, my goodness.
All right. We will talk soon, and thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.